Some say that great minds think alike, and that's up for debate. But they do seem to have one thing in common. They have some strange habits. Albert Einstein, one of the smartest people ever, had a lot of quirks, like not wearing socks and napping with a metal spoon in his hands. Can you become a genius if you follow his example? Well, let's find out. Number 1. No socks. Ever. Yes, Albert Einstein despised socks for some reason. He never wore them at all. He wrote once in a letter to his wife Elsa that he had to wear high boots all the time just to hide his bare feet. How could that benefit him? Not much, probably, but at least he had a reasonably strong immune system to stand against cold weather. Now, seriously, the only reason Albert Einstein didn't wear socks was because in his childhood, it took him just a day or two to wear out a hole in a new sock. And that says something about Albert Einstein's mind. His thoughts were so important for him that any issue, even annoying socks, wasn't worth a distraction. He just couldn't stand it, so socks were immediately banned for life. Number 2. Building houses of cards. Another habit that Albert Einstein adopted in his childhood was building houses of cards. One time, he even built a 14-story house. If you've ever tried building your own card house, you know how much patience and concentration this process takes. I'm not saying you have to start building houses of cards to become a genius, but there's one important point about this habit that's worth a closer look. When our brain is busy with something mechanical, it sets free our ability of abstract thinking. The more concentration needed, the greater the possible effect will be. It's never wasteful to keep your mind busy. Something like building a house of cards suits this purpose perfectly. Number 3. Playing the violin. While young Einstein was mostly interested in houses of cards, his mother wasn't so fond of it. She decided to come up with another exercise for her son that would be more useful. So she chose the violin. At first, young Einstein couldn't stand it. But when he was 13, he heard Mozart for the first time and fell in love with it. After that, he never stopped playing the violin again. Despite his first reaction, Einstein was curious enough to change his mind about violin playing. Also, there's no better rest for your brain than a change of activity. Tired of doing math? Play guitar. Tired of playing guitar? Go for a walk. Try out some photography. Our brains love when we switch from work to abstract visual or audio information. But don't forget, a normal rest in the form of healthy sleep can't be replaced by anything. Albert Einstein sure knew that as well. Number 4. Sleeping 10 hours a day. Just imagine that's 3 hours more than an average American sleeps nowadays. It's not that Einstein was lazy or a sleepyhead, that's for sure. We all know that a healthy night of sleep is good for your brain. But generally, 7 to 9 hours is enough. Still, it's important to remember that we're all different. For some of us, 6 hours are all right, and others need all 10, like Einstein. He dedicated his whole life to thinking about the universe, asking daring questions, and finding the brightest answers to them. It's only logical that he needed more sleep, but there's more to this habit than you think. Strangely enough, this quirk somewhat breaks the tradition of other geniuses. Most of them had strange sleep cycles, but in the opposite way, sleeping only 4 or even 2 hours a night. For example, Charles Dickens was an absolute insomniac, laying his head on a pillow only when the sun rose. And Nikola Tesla was an unfortunate victim of nightmares and couldn't sleep normally. He often said that he recharged his battery by having naps during the day. And you know what? Despite sleeping for 10 hours a night, Einstein didn't restrict himself from having naps either. You see, Einstein had a strange routine linked to his daily naps. While he drifted into dreamland, he held a metal spoon in his hand and had a metal plate lying on the floor right underneath the spoon. When he fell asleep, he would drop the spoon on the plate. The resulting sound was enough to wake him up immediately. But why would he do that? To answer this question, we'll need to investigate another of his habits. 5. Daily walks. Healthy sleep and exercise every day in the fresh air doesn't sound like the key to brilliance. More like a piece of advice from your mom. But hey, first of all, yes, your mom was right all along. And second, we already know that the sleeping habits of Einstein aren't that conventional. Einstein wasn't really a person with a passion for exercise and a healthy lifestyle. His walks had nothing to do with benefiting his health. The thing is, while we walk, we're not busy. Our mind is left to itself. That's why a long enough walk can put you in a sort of trance. It'll allow you to relax and think about things differently. This is exactly what Einstein was looking for, to switch his way of thinking, to reset his mind, to find that one brilliant, fresh thought that explains everything. Remember Einstein's naps with a spoon in hand? He did that for the same reason. When we fall asleep, our thoughts start to uncontrollably transform into something unexpected. It's believed that most of Einstein's groundbreaking ideas first appeared in his dreams. Number 6. Adopting routine work as a habit. Einstein always thought that his humble work in the government patent office in Bern was all he wanted. Even though his salary was low and the job itself was like boredom incarnated. In fact, this boredom is what Einstein loved about his work. When we're doing something monotonous that doesn't require any skill or mastery, our brain quickly adapts to it. Soon, we learn to follow the routine without even thinking. This allows our thoughts to drift freely from one thing to another. You see a pattern here? All these habits contribute to almost the same thing. Albert Einstein had no recipe for his genius after all. He just followed his needs. To put it simply, he just wanted to be free in his thoughts, which helped him develop theories that changed science forever. What's more important about adopting habits is improving yourself. Getting good sleep, taking a daily walk, or starting to play a musical instrument are not bad places to start at all. So, what habits helped you to achieve some brilliant results in your life? Let us know down in the comment section. If you learned something new today, then give this video a like and share it with a friend. But hey, don't go anywhere just yet. We have over 2,000 cool videos for you to check out. All you have to do is pick the left or right video, click on it, and enjoy. Stay on the bright side of life.